Welcome to A Guide to Every Deck in EDH. Today we're looking at Octavia Living Thesis. So Octavia is a 10 mana elemental octopus, but not really, we'll get to that. It's an 8/8 and it costs 8 less to cast if you have 8 or more instants and sorcery cards in your graveyard. It has Ward 8 and Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, target creature has base power and toughness 8/8 until end of turn. So in this deck, we're going to be casting a lot of very cheap instants and sorceries, or especially ones that loot through cards or can cycle into the graveyard in order to make Octavia only 2 mana. Then it naturally has Ward 8, so it is mostly protected from enemy removal spells. And then we will win the game through either just generating threats or using Octavia to pump our creatures to huge 8/8s. So first of all, we have our other beatdown cards. So these are basically the alternative win conditions aside from Octavia. So we have cards like Poppet Stitcher, Murmuring Mystic, Dark Typhoon, and Talrand. We also have an Ulamog in the deck. We just wanted a way to reshuffle our graveyard back into our deck, and this seemed like an easy enough way to do it while also being a big threat. Then we have the enormous suite of cantrips and other filtering cards. So these are things like obviously Brainstorm, Consider, Ponder, Preordain, etc. We also have cards like Ledger Shredder, Shoreline Looter, Frantic Search, cards to put more cards into the graveyard. And we have just straight up card draw with Archmage and Meritus. We also do actually have a fairly good amount of creatures in the deck. So Enduring Curiosity, Lorien Revealed is an easy enough card to just cycle into the graveyard, and then the usuals. Bunch of counter spells. We're in mono blue after all. Pretty straightforward lands with Mystic Sanctuary added in, since we do have a number of spells we might want to be able to recur. A little bit of protection, but we really don't need much since Octavia basically protects herself with Ward 8 anyway. Bunch of ramp, including ramp in the form of creatures, since we want to be able to make our creatures into 8/8s using Octavia's triggers. And we have the unusual addition here of Invasion of Segovia, which gets 2 1/1 creatures, and then on its other side allows us to convoke our spells. Bunch of removal, including Pongify and Rapid Hybridization. Some mono blue stacks, since we can take advantage of things like Back to Basics and Harbinger of the Seas. And then a little bit of other cards over here, not really much to say. I also could have hypothetically played the instant and sorcery cost reduction creatures in the deck, although I felt like most of our spells were only 1 mana anyway. Treasure Cruise was another option, although it is a little awkward that since it delves away our cards, it then makes Octavia cost more again. But this was definitely another potential option to have in the deck. But anyways, with that said, that's going to do it for Octavia Living Thesis.